Questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hi, trying to get my phone turned off here so that it won't bother us in our broadcast today. This is Shelby Wagner. I'm host of the podcast and live radio and TV show Learning to Dance in the Rain. And I welcome you to today's broadcast. This is where my guests and I share you our stories and insights and strategies for living to empower our listeners in their journey to resilience. I want you to remember this quote because this is where I got the title of my book, Learning to Dance in the Rain, and the show. And the quote was by Vivian, I forgot the name, but Green, I think it is. Yeah. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And you know, it rained the other day, and I was thinking about this. It was a gray day, and it kind of rained all day long. And I was feeling a little down, and okay. So this came to my mind. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. So did I go out and dance in the rain? No, I thought about it though, and just the thought of it made me feel better. And I did a few dance steps there, right there in the kitchen, because I have a big window looking outside. And but actually, you know, this is about life. When we have a problem, something is just worrying us, or we keep contemplating about it and thinking about it and worrying about it. And we just get more and more depressed with it. But, you know, it's okay to change their mindset, start singing a song that makes us feel better. Or, you know, it's okay to feel sad for a while, a little bit, but certainly not the whole day. So, do you know, I got busy doing other things. I played the piano. I worked on the computer on my book I'm working on. And I started feeling better. And it's okay. You know, the same is true about when you're worrying about, well, let's say you just lost a loved one. I guess that was what I was thinking about, because my dear brother, Jerry, passed away a week ago last Sunday. And it was sudden. He just discovered that he had some problems just before Thanksgiving. And they started some treatments, and he had surgery on his back, just about around Christmas, I think. And we were expecting him to get better and go home. But life had different plans for him. And yeah, I'm sad when I think about my loss, because I loved him. 2 years ago, he came and spent a week with me here at my home. And we had a really good time and got caught up on things that on our lives, because he lived in Colorado and I live in Michigan. And with COVID, had been about 4 years, I think, since we had talked. But anyway, yeah. So is it something that I want to be sad all the time? No, I imagine his wife is, I know she is. But, you know, it is okay to let yourself start feeling better. It's okay to move forward. And when you're ready, I don't know how long that will be. With me, it was about 8 months, 9 months. I started dancing, really. I started learning to line dance. And a year and a half later, I wrote my book, my memoir, talking about the first part of the book talks about my grieving period and my grieving journey and what I decided to do. Um, I had some um, good quizzes and suggestions for things to think about that I had gotten from relationship experts. And in the process, I was assessing what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And I don't want to get into the rest of the parts, but well, maybe I will. The third part is those second and third parts is learning to like ourselves again and trust ourselves and trying to decide what it is we want to do with the rest of our life. Do we want to live alone? Well, that's okay. If that's what makes you happy, then that's fine. I decided that I really wanted to find a partner, um, maybe find love again, because I'm a people person. I enjoy being with people and doing things with people. And I'd always wanted to learn how to line dance. And so there was a class just a mile from me at the senior center. And so I started going on Thursdays and learning to line dance. And then there were dances for singles in here. Well, they were all in northern Indiana, actually, and I'm just a couple miles from the border. So I had that and to learn, and I enjoyed it and went about twice a week dancing. And I'm still doing that, except with COVID, some of the dances stopped. So it's not every week like it was before. But I'm taking ballroom dancing now. And this is what I suggest in my book is that, it's at some point you get tired of being sad and you decide to move forward and do some, do your hobbies. Maybe start a new hobby. Maybe your hobby is working on your house. Maybe your hobby is knitting. My daughter has started taking up knitting, and she's made some beautiful scarves for me, and she even gave me a hat to wear, and it's nice and warm and so on. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about love, and I just called the pastor Carl, and he's on his way. He was thinking it was 1 o'clock. He got mixed up. So he'll be in the office, I hope, pretty soon. But we were going to talk about love and what is true love. Anybody out there in the audience want to talk with me about what is love? You can call 561-623-9429 and you put your input if you want. I'm going to get my book out, Learning to Dance in the Rain, and I'm going to go back to the around the page part 2, and actually I believe it's part 3, page 54. What is love? And I think Pastor and I talked about this once before a little bit, but I was looking at some resources this morning, and it had in this very well mined um, magazine an article about, do you know what love really is? And is it just a secondhand emotion? Kendra Cherry uh, is writing and asking that question. She's a psychological rehabilitation specialist, psychology educator, and author of Everything Psychology book. And I thought right at the top it had a picture, and it had five little circles, and it had the 5 types of love. Now I know in my book in the Greek, um, I think the Greeks had 8 types of love, but we've got here 5. And first one she had on the left was friendship, and then was infatuation, and then passionate, and then compassionate, and then unrequited. So I did talk about all of these, I believe, in my book. Um, so before the chapter on what is love, I guess it is the one called chapter 9, what is attraction? And attraction isn't even on there. But anyway, so I had gotten definitions of love, as I did several other subjects in my book. And here's vocabulary.com definition of attraction. Attract. Attract means to exert a force that draws something in, like a magnet or a paper clip to a magnet. So love is described there as or attraction, is like a magnet. You're drawn to a certain person. And another meaning in the same book says it's pleasing or appealing to the senses. It's like good looking. I think they're good looking or even sexually alluring. And this is attraction. So, what is a man? When a man is attracted to a woman, he is drawn to her like a magnet. He wants to spend time with her and get to know more about her. And she may or may not be drawn to him. If she is, then the two are attracted to each other. And we could say they like each other. So, what causes a person to be attracted to another? And a man named Kevin P. Ryan in Business Insider claimed that there are 5 scientifically proven ways in which a man is attracted to a woman. The first was laughter. Well, if someone, it's much more fun to be with a person who laughs, who enjoys life, than it is to be with somebody that's cranky and grouchy all the time. Do you agree with me? So, the first one is laughter. A woman who is receptive to a man's sense of humor and laughs at his jokes. It plays into being respected, and it connects with him on a deep level. And the second one is kind of connected to the laughter, is just a plain smile. Maybe it's not really funny and you don't break out into a loud laugh, but a smile is a pleasant gift that you can give to anyone. And what happens when you smile at somebody? Usually, don't they smile back at you? Yeah. And don't you feel better when you're smiling than when you're not? And don't you feel better again if that person smiles back at you? It's a nice feeling when they smile back at you, and it can last all day actually, or it does help improve our mood at the moment. Anyway, so we have one is it being a happy person, laughing at jokes and talking and sharing and so on, smiling and showing that you are friendly. That's kind of uh, all of this. It says, I thought this was quite uh, interesting when I read that there are 43 muscles in our face. And when we smile, our body releases neuropeptides called dopamine, scrotonin, and a whole mixture of feel-good chemicals. So 40, can you imagine 48 muscles in your face that are used for that smile? And yet it doesn't hurt, does it? It doesn't seem to take much energy to move those muscles. So that's 1 and 2. So number 3 is honesty. An honest person exudes confidence. Both honesty and confidence are attractive. They increase your attractiveness. So those 3, I think, if we concentrate on those 3, laughing, enjoying conversation, and smiling at people, and being honest, then that makes already you an attractive person when you do these things. Now, the 4th one was quite interesting, and that is wearing red. So I have a red dress on today. How do you feel when you see me wearing a red dress? Does it affect the way you feel about me or how you see me or anything? I never liked the word or the color red, or I never wore it when I was a teenager or growing up. In fact, I don't think I wore much red at all until maybe I was in my 40s. And I guess I attribute that to my sister. She loved red. That was her favorite color. And I just let her enjoy her red dresses. And then one day I was in the catalog and there was this really cute dress and it was red. So I ordered it. And now I didn't know about this back in those days, this as being something that was attractive or attracted people. I just read this, about 6 years ago. So here I was, 10 or 15, 20 years before that, I finally got a red dress. And every time I wore that red dress, people were smiling at me more. And I felt liked. I felt encouraged. I even had people saying, admiring my dress. Oh boy, that's a pretty dress you have on today. Or, oh my, you look nice today. Well, how do you think that made me feel? You betcha. just like I'm feeling right now talking about it, and when I remembered it. But I had no idea that that was a man's favorite color until I read this back about 8 years ago when I was writing the book. 7 years ago, I guess it was. Okay, so wearing red shows a sexual attraction and desirability. Boy, I didn't know about that because I don't know. That says I know men now. I've asked their favorite colors, and most of them say red. That's an interesting observation. The 5th one is mirroring the man's body language. Now, I had a little trouble with that one. Why would you mirror somebody? I know that a lot of people, they don't listen. They pretend they're listening, but they're really thinking about what they're going to say next sometimes. But if you're really listening, I think that you do kind of, if that person is excited about it, they're kind of leaning into you. And I know as I've gotten older and I can't hear as well, I tend to lean a little bit further or turn my good ear to hear what they're saying. And I didn't realize that that encourages the other person and makes them feel good. And they think, this person is really interesting and interested in me, and they're really listening to me. And that's a need that people have. Everybody has. Today especially. Why? I don't know. There are a lot of people that are lonely. They just want somebody to talk to. And I kept forgetting to call my sister-in-law last week. Finally, I remembered there's 2-hour difference in time change. So about the time I'd get ready to call her, it was her time for supper. So, but anyway, it took me 3 days. And finally I sat down and said, I'm going to call her now. We talked for an hour And I know when we hung up and said goodbye till next time, um, I felt better, and I know that she did. And I need to call her again. We need to call people that are friends or not, maybe. But if they have lost a loved one recently, they really do need someone just to talk to. And it's not necessary to worry about what you're going to say. I know I worry sometimes. Well, gee, what am I going to say if I call this person? Sometimes you call them and they do all the talking, and all you have to do is listen. So you get the conversation going, and you can keep it going by showing that you're interested, by listening to them, picking up on something that they've said maybe, and asking them a question. That's a very interesting thing. But anyway, if we get back to this attraction, does a person have to be beautiful to be attractive? No. And as we get older, we go, oh boy, we're really not as beautiful as we once were, and we're feeling kind of bad. But guess what? That other person's probably changed just like I saw a man the other day that I hadn't seen in probably 2 or 3 years, and oh my, I looked at him. I said, is that really him? Uh, he looked so much older in those 3 years that I almost didn't recognize him. So I looked at myself and said, well, how much have I changed in the last 3 years? Um, I'm not sure. I don't think I've changed too much yet, but I sure hope I'm not looking elderly yet. I hope not. So anyway, let's move on. So attraction is what draws two people together like magnets. And it can be a friend, it can go further. And if it goes further, it goes into love. I think attraction, well, that's like a magnet. And I think of love as the glue. Now, the glue for what? Well, let's see. How can that be glue? Here, the dictionary.com said love is a profoundly tender, passionate affection for another person, a feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection as for a parent, child, or friend. It's also sexual passion or desire. It is also being in love with somebody and having a gentle feeling of fondness or liking for another person. That's quite a bit, isn't it? We go back to that, what I said in the beginning, that there were five types of love. There's friendship, infatuation, passionate, compassionate, and unrequited. Well, I think the Greeks had it right. Let's see, they've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different kinds. And it's too bad that we have one word, love. Because why? Well, we say, I love ice cream. Oh boy, do I love ice cream. That word love, yeah, that means I really like it, right? Okay, well, what if I say I really love Rick? um, do they mean the same thing? Yeah, it means I really like him. But it's more than like when it's love between a man and a woman. Um, but the Greeks went on, yep, I love ice cream. How about I love my kids? Yeah, we love our children. At least most of us do. And we may not like some of the things they do, but we love them. I like that song, country song. How does it go? The father is talking to his son and says, that's something that I need to say, and that loving your son is not just sometimes. it's an all the time thing. And love without end, I believe, is what the words actually are in that. So, yeah, I think that's true of a mother and her children. We don't just love our children now and then. It's a love without end. So, is it the same love as I love ice cream? Well, I think it's not. Is it the same love we feel for the man we married or that we think we love? No, it's not. So we have, what do we have? We have, we love our children. We love our ice cream. We also love our friends, but that's not quite the same as loving our children or loving the one we marry. So how does it fit in? So the Greeks had one called Eros, which was named after the Greek god of love and fertility. And it means sexual passion and desire. That's one type. The second type was a deep friendship, and this was philia, and this is what our best friends, what we are with them. There's no sexual attraction there. It's just we really, really, really like them and enjoy being with them, and that's filial. With our children or casual people, it's ludus. It's a playful friendship. Agape is the kind of love that it says the Bible, where does it say love? We love mankind. We love everybody. That one is a hard one, isn't it? Do we love everybody? Do we love our enemies? Pastor Carl brought that up Sunday about do we love our enemies? And I'm hoping he's going to get here before this ends, but he must have been farther away from his church and his computer than I thought, because he thought it was at 1:00 instead of 12:00. Anyway, we'll have to ask him about that. There's pragma, which is a long-standing love. It's a mature, realistic love that develops between two people over time. I think that's the one that, well, Eros is the sexual one, but, that's the attraction and whatever, and that starts. But then it goes, as you have been with the person, then the love is deeper and stronger. It may be less passionate even, but it's still stronger. And that's the long-standing one, the pragma. Self-love is philosia or philatia, PM or whatever. But this is what the Greeks considered to be the most important, the healthiest of all love. And that is, let's see, I've got a problem here with okay. And that is the love of self. It doesn't say selfish love. No, if you love yourself and respect yourself, then you have the capacity to love. And you can't love other people if you hate yourself, really, or if you don't like yourself very much. So you really need to work on yourself. Work on yourself and liking yourself. Embrace your love of yourself, and then but you can have the love for other people. The idea that one cannot love someone else unless he or she loves himself or herself comes from philosia. This is the love of self. Aristotle added another one to remind us it's kind of a negative one, and that's narcissism. It is a kind of love. I wouldn't even put it in this category, but I guess it is. It's a selfish love of yourself. I think it's going too far with that philatia, I believe. And then there were two other ones that have come up. One is an uh, obsessive love, in which there's an imbalance. You love John more than John loves you. And that's not a healthy type of love. And another one is, what was it? Unrequited. That was one of them. Okay, so we've got friendship, and unrequited love is when you think you love somebody, and you may love them, and they may not return that feeling. And that hurts, doesn't it? Yeah. Uh, I had a friend who was talking about in love with, and I believe that if you had, if you have this unrequited love, you're not in love with them. You may love them a lot. You may love them. You may think that's the only one for you, which is unhealthy, because that means you will never really be loved by someone else, because you're concentrating on this person who doesn't love you. Um, my brother said to me once, when I told him I really liked this guy on the internet, and he seemed to like me, and then all of a sudden he ghosted me. And my brother says, well, why would you like somebody or love somebody that doesn't love you? That doesn't make sense. And I said, you know what? You're right. But don't think of yourself as being in love with them, because with means that they love you back. If you're in love with them, then that means that they love you back. You may love them like you love everybody, but you're not in love with everybody. You're not in love with them unless they return that feeling. So, Pastor, I'd really like for you to be here. So I hope that you might go and buy my book, Learning to Dance in the Rain. If you're grieving, the first part is for you. Um, if, Once you decide you want to move maybe a little bit, uh, you get tired of grieving after a while and you want to move forward, then my part 2 and part 3 help you to decide what you want to do. And then the part 4, if you decide that you want to find love again on the internet, then I tell you how to do that, and how to, what things you should not do. And so that's there. I'm also working on my third book, which is called Finding Love Again. And I thought it was ready to publish, but we found some problems, so still working on it. But I should have it up pretty soon. So if you want to, that one, when that will be up, that will be about, I think it's a senior's guide to online dating. But my book here is the one that helps you to decide, do you want to do that? Are you ready to find somebody? Maybe you're not. Everybody is unique, and have different problems and different memories and so on. So, in this article, Do You Know What Love Is by Kendra Cherry, it goes down and says, love is, well, when it comes to love, some people would say it is one of the most important human emotions. Love is a set of emotions and behaviors characterized by intimacy, passion, and commitment. It involves care or caring for somebody, closeness, protectiveness, attraction, affection, and trust. Now, I was surprised to see the word infatuation in this as one of the loves. Well, I think infatuation may be part of that magnet, that attraction, the magnet that pulls you towards a certain person. Um, and I wonder sometimes when people think they are in love and they get married and then after a couple, 3 years, oh, well, you found out that person wasn't perfect. And maybe the love starts to wane. And maybe the eyes start to wandering to somebody else. Maybe you really were infatuated with that person, not in love with them. And perhaps you got to assess this um, feelings that you have and go with it. There are countless songs and books and poems and other works of art about love. Yet, despite being one of the most studied behaviors, it is still the least understood of them all. For example, researchers debate whether love is biological or a cultural phenomenon. Hmm. And it goes into 5 psychological theories of love. So that's a whole nother thing. So if you wanted to find this article on this site, go to verywellmind.com and do you know what love really is? Let's see, I wrote yeah, on the last page of this. Well, I'm going to save those. Well, maybe it's a good time now. How do we know if it is love? How do I know if I am in love? Well, in chapter 10 of my book, I have a couple of I have a couple of passages that I quoted from different people, different psychologists, and so on. The first one is how it helps us to know whether we really love someone. It was created by Teresa Donato, a PhD social psychologist and associate professor at Loyola University in Maryland. And she says if you're in love in the following cases, then you know your love. The first one is you are addicted to that person and want to be with him or her all the time. I don't like the word addicted, but the rest of it is pretty good. Yeah, you do want to be with them. Uh, and they're the only person that you really, really want to be with all the time. The second thing was you really want your friends or family to like this person. And I would have to say if you have a normal, whatever normal means, family that supports you and loves you, then you really want them to like the person that you have chosen to love. And I'm surprised that every all of my friends have they like my choice this time. And my brother, when he got to know my boyfriend Rick, he said to me before he died, he says, "I want you to know that I think Rick is the best boyfriend you've ever had." And so that was a nice thing for him to say, I think, and help me to remember. The third one here, you celebrate the person's triumph even when you yourself fail. You know, they come home and they got a raise and they're so excited. And how should you react to that? Especially if you didn't get the raise that you wanted. Well, if you really love them, you're going to be happy for them. Maybe keep your own news quiet for a few days before you tell them that you didn't get the raise that you had hoped for. But it's okay. But you're happy that they are happy. And that's one of it's not in my book here, but I believe it's in that other list. So I will go get on with this so I can um, finish it. You definitely like this person and they like you. How can you love somebody that you don't like? I don't understand that. Maybe you need that person. It's, but you know what? If they're not making you happy, if they're not helping you to grow and love, then maybe you shouldn't be with that person anymore. Um, and that's one of those life issues that you need to think about and assess it. And maybe you need a life change. And whatever that life change is, I don't know. Maybe if you've got can go to a therapist and get some help and suggestions there. Um, I was married for 50 years, and we went and had some visits with a marriage counselor at least 3, maybe 4 times during that 50 years. And my husband, he used to tell people near the end, he's, oh, yeah, Shelby divorced me already 5 times. Said she was going to, but she never did. But, we worked it out. And that's what you have to do is work things out. And there are lots of different ways of what that means, working it out. Maybe we couldn't have agreed on something and would have parted ways, but we worked on it together to stay together. And I believe that's love. This next one, you really miss a person when you're not together. The next one that I always said, the sense of self has grown. In other words, when you're together, you both feel better. You feel more alive. You're more positive. You are good for each other. You encourage each other in those ways. And the last one on my list here was you get jealous, but not suspicious. Well, I don't understand the jealous. I guess you may feel, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means, but I don't, I think jealous is a negative word. And it's something that we might have to work on ourselves. But if there are a lot of things can happen if the other person is making you jealous, and you need to talk with a therapist or a third party, and see if you can figure out what the best strategy is for that. Carl, I just got a message from Carl that says he's listening. Yeah, Carl, sorry, we're almost done here, but I'll talk with you later. Unless you can get in and say hello. I'm not sure. I didn't see the whole sentence. But okay, so here, let's see. This list said, how do I know if I'm in love? Although researchers have identified common emotions associated with love, the feelings of love aren't exactly a one size that fits all. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Carl. He says, hang in there, Shelby. Yeah. um, let's see. There's no one size fits all. Here are some signs that you may be falling in love with a romantic interest. The first one here is you don't want to date anyone else. Chances are you'd rather use your time and energy to focus on the person that you have feelings for. And that kind of goes with what I said in my book, that you want to be with them. Second one, you try to get through disagreements peacefully because you want to maintain the relationship and you don't want to hurt the other person. I'm running out of time. Thank you, Rebel, for telling me. And let's see if I got, you care about, I'm going to speed through. You care about this person's needs, interests, and desires as much as you care about your own. The next one, you feel grateful to have them in your life. The next one, your feelings for them are consistent and just keep getting stronger. Next, you're interested in conversation. and emotional connection. It's not just about the physical. You see them in your future plans. You can have a disagreement, and your feelings toward them don't change. You still love them. You enjoy their company and look forward to doing little things together, even grocery shopping with them. And I found with Rick, my friend, it's fun to even go to the grocery store with him. It takes us a long time sometimes, but it's kind of funny. But I think it's funny. Okay, well, are there different types of love? Yes. Well, we'll have to get Pastor Carl in here, and he can comment on my show that I did by myself, and we'll see what he has to say. But I'm going to say thank you for joining me today at Learning to Dance in the Rain. And I hope that you will tell everybody about my live show. Replays of it are available 24/7 on my website, learningtodanceintherain.com, and my YouTube channel at Shelby Wagner. And also on your favorite podcast station, it should be there. It's on 100 different podcasts. So I'd like you to go to Amazon.com or your favorite bookstore and order my books. They're Learning to Dance in the Rain, Surviving Grief, Internet Dating, and Romance Scams, and Scams a Resource Guide. And they are both on Amazon.com. And I thank you very much for being with me today. And I think I'm ready to say goodbye. Thank you again for coming. And go buy my books, okay? Learning to Dance in the Rain, especially. That one is in the 3rd version. And I hope that you will buy it and enjoy it for me. Thank you.